At the start of today's video, Bitcoin is dipping down to 88K. As I alluded to in my last video, I said the last pump could have been a dead cat bounce, and it's looking like that's playing out. In today's video, this is going to be one of my most important videos for you, the investor. We're going to talk about all the options you have heading into the bear market if we do get a confirmation, which will probably happen this week, even though it's kind of looking like it now. We're going to give you all the options on what you should do to help you make the best decision possible. Okay, I even wrote it down here because I want to make sure I get very detailed. So let's first pull up CoinMarketCap and let's see what's going on in the metrics, and I'll give you guys my insight because there really is no right or wrong answer, and you'll see when I go into detail on these four strategies. But you'll see that each approach requires a different frame of mind and also course of action required to making the best decision regarding this plan. So you'll see in a minute, but let's first go to CoinMarketCap. We can see right here. So we're in extreme fear. We're about to fall below this psych zone of 3 trillion. And here's Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, it fell below 89K literally like 5 minutes ago. It's going to fall again. And you can see in the last 24 hours, it came down from its rally of 93K all the way down to 88K. Okay. And I've been saying my two clear indicators of a bear market is actually holding at this price below 90K for the rest of the week, and also a second weekly moving average close below, which it's looking like we're going to get it. But I want to say, first off, before we go over these four plans, let me first propose something. Okay. In past cycles, we've had bear markets when quantitative tightening started. We saw this happen in 2022. We have yet to see a bear market happen like this when we're ending QT before the money printers come back on. Now, if that's the case, this would be the first bull cycle where we had no altcoin season, and this would be probably the first time that we enter a bear market right when QT, quantitative tightening, is about to end. But that is something I want you to keep in mind because a lot of people think it's a surefire thing that we're entering a bear market because of TA, and I'm not here saying they're wrong. Absolutely no one knows. But what I am saying is I'm a little bit skeptic because we're about to see so much money liquidity come into the market in 2026. We got stimulus checks coming out. We got quantitative easing taking place, which is the money printers coming back on. We got a new chairman taking place in May. So all these things spell bullish price action, not bearish, even though right now it looks bearish. And if we do enter a bear market, it just doesn't line up. Okay, that's what I want to say. Now let's get back into the plan. So the first plan is, and this is not financial advice, by the way, this is just my own general advice. You have to decide this for yourself, okay? No matter what I say, don't just do what I do blindly or say blindly. You have to make sure it's the best decision for you, okay? This is going to be for someone that wants to preserve their wealth and maybe make some money in the coming months if we enter a downtrend in crypto. You can move your money to gold, okay? Let's go to gold. Gold always outperforms crypto in a bear market. So if we do enter a bear market again, you're risking that the market is going to go down versus up. Okay, so understand that every single plane here has a risk. So you have to really decide what you truly believe. But every single bear market, gold has been a good hedge and an outperformer. So if you want to preserve your wealth and you want to potentially make some money while you wait for crypto's next move, moving into gold is not a bad idea. Gold is one of the strongest assets we have in the entire crypto market. It's pretty much a stable coin, but with some appreciation. You can see here, 24-hour chart, 0.08%. While crypto's tumbling down, it's really doing nothing. Past month, we're down from the all-time high. This is when also crypto was peaking. Again, Bitcoin had a new all-time high, the last one potentially, in October. This is when gold tanked. So if we enter a bear market, you're going to see this reverse. Gold's going to outpace again. So here's the old chart. You can see over time, since gold's been around, we have had roughly a 3x, and that is in the last 5 years, almost 6 years, 5.5 years, give or take. So in about 5.5 years, we had about a 3x. not bad. Again, no one jumps into gold expecting a 100x gain. This is a hedge against inflation and also a hedge when you want to move your money and see what the next move is to the market without keeping it in a stable coin. Okay. Number two plan is stables, USDC, USDT, whatever. If you don't want to risk it in gold, you don't want to risk it in case, in case gold goes down, or you just want to keep your money temporarily safe and you just want to see what happens. And holding it in stables is a personal choice. It's totally fine. Make sure you find a good one. The two best ones are USDC and USDT. Stables lets you keep your money flexible. You can swap it to other cryptos when you see fit. It's a little easier to get your money around when you have it in stables versus gold. Gold, unless you're holding it on the exchange, you have to physically convert it and move it. So it's a little bit different. Stables is another option like gold, but with stables, you don't have any risk to the downside. And once it's there, your money's there, and you can probably get some interest if you decide to hold it on an exchange. I don't recommend that during a bear market. Reason being, exchanges can sometimes be shady in bear markets. Gold is good if you want to have a hedge. You want to see some gains in a bear market before you move it to crypto. Stables is more of a risk-averse type of move. Number three is Bitcoin. Okay, reason being, Bitcoin, if we enter a bear market, it's going to drop, but it's not going to drop as hard as altcoins. So if you're all in altcoins right now and you don't want to leave the market entirely, but you also don't want to drop as far down as you potentially can, which if Bitcoin drops 50% to like 45K, altcoins are going to drop 80% at least. If you want to hedge yourself that way while still being in the market in case you get a pop, then being in Bitcoin is the way. Okay, this is kind of a moderate risk approach. You're in the market in case we see a big pop. Like I said, maybe we see one in Q1. Again, a lot of things have been different this cycle. Anything could happen. You're still here. And if Bitcoin and the market recovers, guess what? Bitcoin goes first. So you'll have some time to get some gains with Bitcoin if we recover and also move the profits eventually back to your altcoins. So keep this in mind too. If you move your money to Bitcoin, yes, you run the risk of downside, which is going to lose your money. But if we do see a recovery, Bitcoin goes first, which means your profit goes up first, and then you can reallocate to altcoins later before they take off. So that's one approach too. And then the last option is twofold. Tax harvesting your crypto before 2026 starts. What this does is, it depends on your region, by the way. Validate this and verify with your region, your financial advisor, your accountant. But if you can do it, it entails selling your portfolio, realizing a loss. And what this does is you can now use this to offset your gains that you'll make in the future. Now, I know a common concern about this is, but John, won't this bring us into short-term capital gains tax? Yes, but keep in mind, if your tax harvest is a big enough deficit and you make that money back and some in the bull run, that's not really a concern about short-term or long-term. It's how much of this money and profit is tax-free. So for example, if you tax harvest and you're a 100K loss right now, and let's just say you make 500K by the end of the cycle, now you have that first 100K tax-free. And then if it is, falling into the sub 12-month window, then you pay short-term capital gains tax on that remaining 400K. But if we enter a long-term capital gains tax bracket, which with the way things are looking next year in the market and the QE and all that, it's possible we're going to be about a year out if this happens. Now you're looking at a potential long-term capital gains tax bracket, which is even more problem for you. So that's what tax harvesting is. Again, talk to your financial advisor and accountant. But this is twofold, right? So you're tax harvesting, and then you're buying back the positions that you have high conviction in, which means you're going to have to evaluate your portfolio, see which plays you're okay with holding. If we enter a bear market, see which ones you're willing to part with. And for the foreseeable future, you ride the bags down and you save up cash to buy the dips. And what this does is it slashes your averages down significantly and it increases your chances of getting out of the market with profit way before the rest of retail even has to break even on their averages. So it gives you more of a faster path to profit. And the caveat to this, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you're not in the market, and let's just say you're in stable coins, gold, or Bitcoin, you have to be proactive and watch the market, because if you don't and you're out with your family one day, you're sleeping, you just take off from crypto for a few months, if you miss the pumps of the old coins, you're going to miss a lot of the gains on the sideline. Whereas the investor who chooses to ride their bags down because maybe they don't need the cash right away, also a factor if you're over leveraged or not, they have the option to take a break a little bit. They can DCA when they can, kind of be a little off the radar because they're not missing out in case the market pumps. And they're just there when the time is, coming for DCAing, and that's it. So they bring their averages down when they're there, and when they're not there, they ensure they'll be there for the pumps when they do take place. So just keep that in mind. Every single approach on this list has its pros and cons. If you're in crypto, you're writing it down, you're bringing your averages down, which is the upside and the setback. And if you're on the sidelines, you're back in gold, potentially making money on the hedge, or you're in Bitcoin, which is a lot less of a money loss versus altcoins. You can reallocate if Bitcoin pumps first, which it will, and then put into altcoins. Also, riding your bag down altcoins, it is not for the faint of heart, okay? If you, and I will say this, if you do not plan to DCA in the bear market, if we do get one, and you plan to keep your averages where they are now, which is probably going to be a lot higher than this bear market will let them be, I would not ride your bags down. In that case, I would follow the other three, either gold, either Bitcoin, or stables. You have to really decide if you're going to make moves in the bear market. Okay, that's probably one of the most overlooked and underrated decisions that you'll make when the time comes. If we enter a bear market, will you DCA? Because I'll tell you this, nothing is scarier than watching your altcoins and bags go down significantly, not DCAing, and then having to wait so long to take profits. So for instance, like I said in my last two videos, Arrow, if it rides down to like 25 cents, and let's just say your average right now is $2. Okay, let's say for me, I buy it at 25 cents and then I buy it at 30 cents and I buy a crap ton of it. Maybe at $1, I make enough money from buying it so cheap and from the last bear market at 14 cents that I say, okay, let's sell. But then if you are holding it at $1, $2, and you see it at $1.50, you're like, I'm so close to breaking even. I can't wait for profit. I can leave a profit now, and now you have to wait longer to realize any profit. So it's a risky trade-off. Every plan has its own pros and cons. No plan is perfect. Again, no one has a crystal ball. Okay, I'm just being brutally honest. These are the 4 best strategies that I think will help you as an investor either preserve your money, make more money, bring more opportunity to you, and also put you in the best position to make a lot of profit, okay? If you think the market's going to go down and you plan DCA, again, even your other 3 options are fine too. Gold, Bitcoin, stables. You just got to be a little bit more proactive, watch the graphs, and try to time your entries when you see fit. And now on to the fun part of the video. I'm sure you're wondering, what the hell is Crypto John going to do? I think it's a little risky to kind of go all into one approach at once. So I'm probably going to do a combination of all the plans we went over. I'm really going to evaluate my portfolio over the coming weeks, especially if Bitcoin closes again and the sentiment gets worse. We're going to see pretty fast, aggressive moves to the downside, not just for Bitcoin, but for altcoins. So at the very least, I know for sure I'm going to tax harvest a lot of my plays in my portfolio. Surprisingly enough, I'm actually in profit for some plays still. Bitcoin, we bought that at 15.4K in the bear market at 22. I'm in profit for Arrow, Turbo, and a couple others. So it's not all doom and gloom, thank God. But I will tax harvest. I'm probably not going to reinvest into every single play I hold. And that money, I will probably move to strengthen my position into Bitcoin, maybe add some gold. I don't think I'm going to mess with stablecoins. I'm probably going to mess with some gold, increase my Bitcoin allocation, and then I'll have probably my core set of cryptos that I will hold. So I'm still kind of molding this over. Again, like I said at the start of this video, there is no perfect approach. When the bear market comes, and it will come, and again, I'm still not fully convinced, because of what's been happening. Like the first time in a long time, if ever, that we entered a bear market when quantitative tightening is about to end. The first time we're in extreme fear before it started, and the first time not having an altcoin season. And then 2024, we saw a rally for like 10 altcoins. I didn't even hit an all-time high. And then Ethereum hits a $200 all-time high. Solana barely hits a $35 all-time high, and it only hit it because of Melania and Trump coin. So like just a lot of firsts have happened this cycle. And I know the cycle is different, but like I said, just because the cycle's been so different, I don't want to be 100% following what I would normally do in a bear market approaching is go strictly risk averse. I do think there is some upside to remaining in the market, but again, I can't decide what you do, right? It's your money. So I will say this: if you're over leveraged and scared, there is definitely strength in moving your funds into Bitcoin or gold or stablecoins. If you're a complete degen, you don't need the money right now, you're in this for the long haul, you believe in the bull cycle comeback. I mean, you can ride your bags down and buy the dips and improve your averages significantly, remain in long-term capital gains tax, especially if your region doesn't allow you to tax harvest. That's fine too. And if you want to be in stables and golds, and kind of watching the sidelines, again, that's fine too. You just have to watch the market a lot more proactively than someone who can just remain in the market and disappear, right? So that's one thing I will say. If you're going to sell your old coins and wait, you cannot afford to just disappear from crypto, because we've seen the sentiment go up like this. There's been too many firsts happening in this cycle that I'm still not fully convinced. And again, yes, I'm not delusional to the fact that we could be in this denial phase of the bear market. I showed you in my last video, we're either going towards belief from optimism, or we're going from anxiety to denial, which, again, I'll leave that up to you to decide. But regardless, just because the bear market is looming on the corner, it is important to have a plan in place. And this is why we're discussing this topic today. But yeah, if I do make a determination of what I plan to do, and I confirm it, I will definitely share in my Discord, and as well as you, for sure. But yeah, I think a combination of multiple plans is probably best for me. But I'm just curious. I mean, what's your plan going to be? Regardless, I am fully confident if the bull run doesn't come back in the next few months, it's definitely going to come. We have too many bullish catalysts coming in the near future. Jerome Powell's replacement, quantitative easing taking place, a stimulus checks coming out, which happened in 2020 as well, followed by a huge boom a year later. Midterms, Trump's going to want to improve his approval rating, legislation, the Clarity Act. There's just been too many things happen behind the scenes that I just can't say I'm 100% bearish. But again, I'm not here to give you a crystal ball answer. I'm here to tell you what I think is happening, what I plan to do, and how you can position yourself to take advantage. So now I'm just curious, which one of these approaches will you probably do yourself, or are you going to do a combination like me? Drop your comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, if it helped you in any way, please leave a like. And with that being said, I'll see you next time.